Live on YouTube. This is Male Entrepreneur Podcast number 185, I believe. I just checked. I should remember. And we're live in 3, 2. All right. Welcome back to the Male Entrepreneur Podcast with your host, the Male Entrepreneur himself, Purdeep Sangha. Purdeep, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. I missed that. It's been a few weeks since we've chatted, so thanks for the awesome intro.
Absolutely. And I'm stoked because we got a pretty cool guest lined up for this show today.
Yeah, let's not waste any time. We're going to bring on a gentleman here. His name is Tyler Cameron. He's a CEO of Work Sourcing and Dad Sourcing. He's an entrepreneur and just a normal, everyday, awesome guy. Want to bring him on here. Tyler, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I like that. I like that introduction. I like to be a normal, awesome guy.
Yeah, you know what? It's cool. I think because the reason why I say that is you and I have had some great conversations, and I actually enjoy chatting with you, and that's the best part about it, right? We've sat down, we've had some good conversations about business, about family life, and all these other things, and that's important because if I can't have a conversation with someone, you can bet I'm not going to be bringing them on to this podcast. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're one of the only people I've seen in the last 2 years when we grabbed a coffee. So it was nice to have a really good conversation with somebody.
Yeah, awesome. So Tyler, for the audience, why don't you just give us a quick background in terms of where you come from? You're also local here. We're about 20 minutes away from each other, but it'd be great for the audience to know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I spent about 16 years in the advertising and media world. So that was across a big ad agency, working on the PepsiCo account, and then worked my way into sales. Spent the majority of my time at the Score, so the television network and the mobile app. So I have a really unique background in advertising and media because I've actually spanned across, traditional, broadcast and worked my way through programmatic and digital and social and all types of different content. So I did that and loved it, and I'm still kind of dabbling a little bit in the consultancy side in that world, but I've always had the itch to do my own thing. So about 2.5 years ago, I started to build a company called Dad Sourcing. And what Dad Sourcing was, and is built out of my own experience. I'm a busy dad. I have a 6 and a 3-year-old now, but at the time, not that it got too much easier, but at the time it was just very hectic. Commuting into Toronto and by the time you got home, there wasn't a lot of downtime, right, to spend with your family, and you're probably grumpier than you want to be. So I thought there had to be an easier way. So through the power of virtual assistants, I kind of built a nice little platform, and from there, I've spun that into another division called Work Sourcing, where we're working on the more B2B side of things. And yeah, that's where I am today. Just really enjoying running my own business, growing my business, working with dads, working with businesses, and really excited to see kind of what the future holds for that industry. And it's really, really growing, especially in Canada.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I first heard dad sourcing, I was like, is it a place for people to source out dads? Like, is it the reverse concept? Because right now my son, for example, you know what it's like, right? Your father. My son's not liking me too much because I have strict rules. And if you asked him if he could pick another dad, he'd definitely do it. Now at this particular time. But I think that's awesome because let's talk about that. Guys are the main listeners of the show. And what ends up happening, I find, is that we do run ourselves silly, right? We run ourselves to the point that we eventually burn out. So I think the concept that you have for dad sourcing is not only brilliant, but I think it's imperative. It's critical for us guys to be able to let go and allow someone else, like a virtual assistant, take on some of that work for us. And so what kind of things were you seeing with some of the dads out there?
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole root of it, like you nailed it, Purdeep, the whole root of it is asking for help and just getting some assistance, and I would find myself at, Walmart or somewhere buying a present for a kid that I didn't even know. And we were heading to a birthday party, and you're trying to keep your life together because it's busy. You're working full time for the most part and trying to run, some, activities for your family and get them out. And the big thing is moms, if there's any moms listening, I know it's primarily a male audience, but we're trying to help you, right? Where, it's for families, it's not just for dads. But I think, a lot of the requests were coming in and around, research for gifts and just that admin type stuff. think of it as a concierge service where you're like, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to go research, I need a new landscaper, or I need somebody to come over to the house. Can somebody just schedule that for me while I'm out working or spending time with the family? And I think, the big why to dad sourcing, and why I really focused on that, A, because I'm authentic to being a dad, a busy dad, but B, it's around mental health and men's mental health and raising awareness for that, because that burnout is so real. And we know, and I know you've covered it on your previous shows, guys aren't very good at talking about that and getting out and asking for help, whether it's, we're trying to help people just in the mental space and free up physical time, but also time and space in your brain. So that's kind of the whole goal of dad sourcing. And it's been really great to be able to help dads and families.
And you're also an author as well. So
Mm-hmm.
what's the title of your book there?
It's A Dude's Guide to Surviving His Wedding. And it's once again, it's a guy's POV, but once again, the theme is helping out your future bride. So I found with, this is where the whole narrative came for dad sourcing as well. I just feel like, with weddings, it's also geared towards females, right? And there's a lot of resources, and they're, the stereotype is they're making all the decisions, but I found that's not really that true. And I was very involved in my wedding process and in picking a lot of things. So it's a light but educational read for guys to be able to, help out and pick up their socks and help with some of the planning, and also tips on how to buy a ring and whatnot. And that was the same with dad sourcing. There were so many mom-oriented resources out there that I wanted a dad marketplace, a dad service. And so I've got a bit of a theme going with some of the stuff I've done.
I think that's awesome because, if you take a look at the typical wedding, the women, the bride typically has all the support. There's the planner, and then they have their friends and the mother and all this kind of stuff. For guys, we're just kind of, okay, what do we do?
Yep.
So I think your book is awesome from that perspective.
And
you're also, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, anything from when the guys get a task dropped on them, you can use a VA to help with that too, right? So it all kind of ties in where I've had dads, or about to be married dads too, where they're planning weddings, and they're, they've got to find the limo service, they've got to find different kind of services, and we can help them in a bunch of different ways. So it's been just helping guys pick up their socks. It's been great.
And you're also in the process of writing another book. And what is that about?
Taking longer than I thought, because it's a dude's guide to surviving kids, and you know how hard it is to do anything with kids. So you need a VA. But it's going to be a bigger book too, I think. It's a little bit more in depth.
Nathan, am I hearing your laugh there, man?
I am. What's going through my mind is the objection that I keep hearing in my own head is, okay, I can be convinced that I might need a virtual assistant to do some of the work things. Like, I want to spend more of my time doing the stuff I'm really good at. So hand off or delegate some of the stuff I'm not really good at.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how easy it would be to convince me to let somebody take some of my personal responsibilities. Like, maybe someone can come in and tidy up, do some dusting, but other than that, I feel like there'd be some objections. Some guys would be like, well, why would I ever let somebody go buy a gift for my nephew? Or why would I let somebody take over some of... So I'm wondering, is that something that you run into? Is that a common objection? And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, sometimes there's some convincing needed with some dads, but it's all, it's all custom to what specific dads want, right? Some people don't want that. Some people have wanted us to come in and research stuff for them and buy gifts and just send it, and they are very hands off. I think it all is dependent on the personality and the family situation. There's other stuff where just think about, hey, I want to be over here spending time with my family, but I've got all this stuff over here, or maybe it's a family trip that we're trying to plan, but I don't really want to research everything. Or maybe it's a golf trip with your buddies, or a couple's trip, and it's like, I don't really want to spend all this time, like we're heading out on the weekend to go hang out as a family. If someone can just drop all this information and then I can kind of go through it, all the work's kind of done. So it works in a bunch of different ways, and people utilize us in different areas, but it's all kind of different, the requests we get. So But it is in and around like kind of the admin side of things.
Mm.
Yeah, I can see that, because I think for me it's like it's all the crap that you don't want to deal with, right?
Hmm.
And that's what bogs us down, because if it's not fun, then it just takes energy, and that can
Yeah,
be draining at times.
absolutely.
And so for you, what's your kind of goal when it comes to dad sourcing or work sourcing? And what kind of results have you seen for people out there?
Yeah, so the overall theme for both companies is surrounded around happiness. So I just want dads to live a healthier, happier life. And that's mentally healthier and happier and physically as well. Um, Same with work sourcing. Business owners and entrepreneurs, they start a business, they get so excited and everything's great. And then you check in with them in a few months or a year or so, and they're just bogged down and they're not having as much fun anymore. It's like, I don't want to be in QuickBooks all day, or I don't want to be, doing the admin stuff. So taking that off people's plate, whether it be a dad or a business owner, it's just about creating happiness and freeing up that time for people. So that's the true goal. The results of being, like, full transparency, harder on the dad side right now, just due to COVID. People are home.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of great dads on the platform, but we're busier on the work sourcing side, just because think of all the people maybe you run into, Purdeep or Nathan, where you're talking to people who just started a business, which, crazy as it might sound during COVID, but it is very much, people have been doing a lot of reflecting right now. And it's very much on people's minds to either start a business or grow that side hustle into a real thing. So it's been really cool and rewarding to see us be able to take people to the next level that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm working with a lot of gentlemen worldwide, a lot of CEOs, a lot of executives as well, entrepreneurs. There's a lot of guys out there who have their executive assistants do a lot of their personal stuff for them. And I would
Yeah,
say that, they're the higher level CEOs. They're, for larger companies. Because sometimes the other CEOs who have executive assistants don't feel like they should be using their executive assistants for personal things. And I think it depends on the company policy. It depends on, personal, the values or whatever it is. But I think we all need help on the personal side. I think there's always opportunity for us to let go a little bit. And I don't know, Tyler, I'm a little bit confused myself when I see people and how we live in society. We have all this technology, we have all these other resources, but it seems like our lives are just getting busier and busier and busier. It doesn't seem like
yeah.
people's are having more free time.
No, it's crazy to see. And I have a line that I say to entrepreneurs and business owners when I'm talking to them on the work sourcing side. They just talk about how busy they are and they're constantly in all these different platforms, which is amazing to have all these project management platforms and communication platforms. To your
Mhm.
point, like, it's supposed to be making our lives easier. But then they just say, "Oh, I'm just so busy. I can't do anything on the business because I'm too busy doing all this admin stuff and working in it." And I just always tell them, like, I'd love to say that you're special, but you're not, because it's just a reoccurring theme with business owners, where you're right. And I think what it comes down to is it's a mentality. It's not as much, it's not process. It's just how you operate on that work-life balance. I can be as busy as I want. But having a virtual assistant business, I outsource a lot of my stuff internally too, right? So it's putting trust in people, and it's just having that mindset that I know how to do everything in my business, but I don't have to.
Mhm.
So I think more people should kind of operate under that, especially executive teams and CEOs.
Yeah, that's cool. And it is going back to what Nathan was saying. It is tough for guys to let go of things. I remember having that conversation with my wife about having a nanny, and
Hmm.
I was hell bent against it because I was like, hell no, no one's taking care of my kids. Like, we're gonna do this, and we got through it without a nanny. We had my mother-in-law help out, but we did come to the same conclusion that if we do have a third child, that we will definitely get a nanny. And
Hmm.
that threshold to get over is a challenge. But I can say once you do, there's a relief that comes through you to say, okay, I don't have to worry about letting or all the other stuff falling off the edge. I can still take care of that stuff, have help, and actually do all the other stuff better. And I think that's essentially what it's about. And we talk about productivity here a lot on this podcast. And if you want to be productive, do the things that you enjoy doing. That's how you become super productive, because you have that energy, you have that motivation. So I highly recommend that you reach out to Tyler at Dad Sourcing or Work Sourcing. Um, just have a conversation. So Tyler, I want to ask one more question here. Why
Mm-hmm.
dads?
Why dads? Why did I focus on dads? Because it's what I am. It's what I am authentic to. Same as being an entrepreneur. I grew up in a household of small business owners. I'm a dad. I've always had that authenticity to me. I'm from a small town. It's just what I like to, it's what I enjoy doing, to your point. So I love helping dads. I love raising awareness for men's mental health, and I love helping out business owners. And I'm going to continue to do that.
That's awesome. That's sweet. And I've asked a lot of questions. Nathan, do you got any questions for Tyler here before we wrap up?
No questions. I just wanted to say thank you for coming on. I love this podcast because we focus on guys' issues, and it's kind of taboo to focus on guys' issues in the modern era. And I think also dads kind of their issues go unnoticed, and I think it's important that I think it's important for all different groups of people to have their advocates and their people that are saying, hey, we're concerned about you and your specific issues. And I don't think there's enough people out there, I guess, focused on or addressing the issues of dads. So I just wanted to say thank you for doing that, and thank you for coming on. And before we're out of here, one last time, where can people go if they want to find your work?
You can find me at dadsourcing.com or worksourcing.com. No O in the first in work, so it's WRK sourcing. And yeah, you can get me there, Tyler at worksourcing.com. And yeah, if anybody needs a VA or wants to chat about dad stuff, I'm always available.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on. Purdeep, if people want to check out episodes of the podcast, where's the best place to go?
Well, you can go to youtubeformen.com or mailpodcast.com. But I got one more question for you, for Tyler. Where can people find your book? What is it, Dude's Guides
to Surviving His Wedding? Yeah. You can find a Dude's Guide to Surviving His Wedding here on my back shelf, as well as on Amazon. Just type in A Dude's Guide to Surviving His Wedding, and you can find it there.
Awesome. For all you single guys out there, or the guys who are married and thinking about getting remarried, hopefully not, but check out Tyler's book there. Thanks for tuning in, guys.